Well, welcome to the channel again. And this is a continuing story of the 4077 MASH Medical Army Surgical Unit. Medical Army Surgical Hospital, I think it's called. So, this is season 9. And there you can see the Three Musketeers, BJ Winchester and Hawkeye. And we're on the near the end of our stories about MASH. So continue. Our next one, The Best of Enemies. Hawkeye has a 24-hour pass to fun and relax, in Seoul, turns into an anything but after he's captured on a deserted road and ordered to treat an enemy soldier. Oh, that's first one of the 10th series. Next one is a letter. The doctors of the 4077 receive letters from the 4th grade class from one of Hawkeye's old friends asking about life during the war. So everyone in the camp has to write back to a different child, telling them about life, what they're doing, and I don't know if it's Hawkeye or BJ has a harder to, write a letter than that. So the next one is a chance of relationship. Margaret gets an unwanted love after this is about when Margaret gets unwanted excuse me, love from an Italian soldier. A 4th grade class of one of I'm reading the wrong one. Margaret gets an unwanted love after she tells a newly jaunted Italian soldier that any woman would be thrilled to have him. So the soldier thinks that the Italian soldier thinks Margaret's in love with him, and it all goes pear-shaped and that. Next one, Father's Day. Margaret gets turned into a bad case of jitters when her father, howling owl, honey, I can't pronounce this now, arrives at the camp and pays her unsuspected visit, and she's trying to get everybody to behave and that, and her father's not amused, and they try and make him, see how good she is. So for the next one is Death Takes a Holiday. Doctors struggle to keep the morale-wounded soldier alive, so his family wouldn't be depressed to remember Christmas as the day their father dies. So what happens? This person's on death door, and they keep him alive. Try to keep him alive to after Christmas, because they don't want his family to remember Christmas, the day they lost their father. So, Death Takes a Holiday. I'm reading the wrong one. The doctor struggled to keep the mirror. Oh yeah, that's it. Definitely, that takes a holiday. So that's the one I was on about. It was my right one. A war for all seasons. In this to keep the patients alive, to his father's kidney. Hawkeye and BJ orders apart for to build their own a kidney machine. So they want something to help to save this person's kidney and that, and they end up building their own. Next, your attention, please. After receiving letters from his ex-wife, startled that she going to marry one of their mutual friends, a depressed Klingon tends to enlist for 6 more years. So what happens? Because Klinger's ex-wife's wife is going to enlist, Klinger decides that he wants to enlist for another 6 years. After earlier, he's been trying to get out of the army. He's decided that, better off staying with it. But BJ and Hawkeye saves the day in that. And tell it to the Marines. BJ and Hawkeye attempts to help a wounded Marine who is a natural American citizen and whose mother is about to be deported back to Holland. So this is where they try and save his mother from being deported, and in the end they get her to be signed to a consul in America, and it saves her from being deported. So for the next one, take the Fifth Amendment. After striking out with all the nurses, Hawkeye puts up a notice on the notice board promising to share an expensive bottle of wine with the next woman willing to be his date. So what it is, he has this bottle of wine, and how they do it, it ends up with all the nurses turning the tables on Hawkeye. And his idea goes pear-shaped. Operation Friendship. BJ finds himself in need of a doctor of his own when he generally a grenade is in the OR, blowing up after an incoming morale shell hits the powerful grenade. So I'm not sure about this one, if it's like the grenade in someone or there's someone with a grenade and that. So for the next one, no sweat. Colonel Potter takes a sleeping pill in order to get a good night's sleep, but that is the last thing he ends up getting, because things are going wrong and they want Colonel Potter to help him out and that, and with him being fast asleep and having troubles, they have to try and wake him up and get into, excuse me as I just want my nose a bit in between. Now for our next one, depressing news. A disbelieved Hawkeye builds a tongue depressor Merman. So he orders some tongue depressors, but he orders 500 tongue depressors. Instead, he gets 5,000 instead. So in the end, they build like a massive pyramid and that from all these tongue depressors. What you put under your tongue when you're doing something. So they send, instead of 500, they send them 5,000. So for the next one, Oh, How We Dance. Knowing BJ will be excited when the wedding anniversary party, the 477 has secretly planned for him, and Hawkeye arranged a little extra surprise with a big touch from home. So what happens? They set up a party because BJ's not going to be home for his anniversary, and in the end they get his wife to do a film and they send it back to him, and it sort of has a dance with Margaret pretending she is his wife. So for that next one's Buttons Up. Buttons Up. Margaret is delighted when a close friend is transferred to the 4077, but it soon becomes clear that the woman social drinking has spiraled out of control. So Margaret has to take matters into her own now to help her friend because she's an alcoholic. So for the next one, the Red, White and Blue. After discovering him blood pressure is too high to allow him to stay in combat zero, a depressed Colonel Potter fears he's going to be resigned to a weary desk job, so they have to get his blood pressure down and help him to not get resigned and that. So for the next one is Bless You, Hawkeye. So psychotherapist Sidney Freud is called back to the 4077 after Hawkeye has a serious allergy, which Freeman quickly subsequent is linked to Hawkeye's past. So he has, some allergy in that, and Hawkeye has a bad reaction. So in the end, Sidney helps him to get over it and that. So for our next one is Forsyth Saga, a cheerful letter from Radar about his new life as a farmer just doesn't ring true. So the gang decides they need to do something to help their old companion. So reading between the lines, it sounds like there's trouble with Klingon and in the farm and that, and in the end they help him out and that. So the life you save. Charles becomes obsessed with death after a sniper bullet grazes his head. So he takes off to the front line to ask soldiers what they feel and thoughts about after they were shot. So Charles is disillusioned and that, and he's fearful, and that's the end of season 9. So for our next one, we're going on to season 10. Oh, I'll show you the front of the cover. That's the front of the cover with all of them, and there's on the back, there's Margaret with her father. And this next one is season 9. That's the front, and there's some pictures from the back. So continuing on to season 9, and there's Sherman with BJ with the patient, and there they all are at the front of that. So continuing our story, that's show business. The 407 gets an unexpected uplift, a visit from a travelling troupe USO tour when one of the singers need emergency surgery. So the troops comes and puts on a show for them, and Klinger decides that he's going to do his bit, but he freezes while he's on stage and that. So the identity crisis. Father McCann faces an unusual dilemma after he hears the guilty soldier states his confession. So Father McCann has to make a decision. Does he tell the truth or not? Because on the doing confession. So for the next one, give them hell, Hawkeye. Upon that, the peace course has been going on for years. Hawkeye writes a letter to President Truman asking him to just stop the damn war. So as his letter doesn't go to the wrong places and all hell flies out of the window. So the next one, wheeler dealer. Colonel Potter takes a driving lesson from Klinger while BJ is upset after learning that his wife took a job at a coffee shop to help pay the mortgage. So what happens? Potter crashes his car and he has to go for driving lessons, and Klinger is his teacher, and BJ is not happy with his wife getting a job to help pay the mortgage. So our next one, community breakdown. While Winchester why Winchester his papers. Oh, what happens? Winchester has a who's load the papers sent him from home. Hawkeye helps to a Klingon boy who has been fighting the opposition side. I think this is where two brothers are from both sides. The one is wounded and they have to do a blood transfusion, and the brothers on our side, so they have to secretly give him a blood transfusion. And with the newspaper, there is one newspaper missing, and Winchester pulls, stops everybody reading the newspaper and that. So for the next one, Sniper's Justice. BJ and Hawkeye and BJ realise that they have to do something for Klinger after Winchester doesn't appear to be at his best defence at Klingon's military crime. Of that jump one and that. Klinger finds Hawkeye's stolen camera in the sale of a local black market, and soon finds himself attending to the theft and finds jail time. So what happens? Klinger gets arrested, and the next one is Justice. Sniper's jury. Hawkeye and BJ realise they have to do something for Klinger after Winchester doesn't appear to be the best defence at Klinger's military court thing. So they find out who is stealing the stuff and that, and they help to save Klingers from going to prison. Thus, the day after Christmas, Potter has the 4077 adopt a British Boxing Day treat of having the officer and soldier exchange jobs for the day. So this is one thing what the British do. Excuse me. So the privates get their captain's job and vice versa. So for our next one, full of the living contains of the deaf, Klinger decides with a high fear, listening to a spiritual of death, the soldier who just can't believe that he's really dead. So I think something happens to Klinger and he's delirious, has a high fever, and he sees the spirit of this dead soldier, and he tell him he's not really dead and that. So for the next one, birthday girl, Margaret arrive when her big birthday plans in Tokyo go kaput after her Jeep breaks down on the way to the airport. So Klinger's staying it to the airport, and it all goes pear-shaped because she don't get to Tokyo to celebrate her birthday. Excuse me, I've got an itchy nose. So for the next one, Blood and Guts, Hawkeye is fair when a big-time war correspondent turns the irritating action of the fair GIs into alternate trial of whom heroic. So what he's doing is sending the troops up to the no-hope parts of war, and they all ending up in getting injury. Holy Mass, an AWOL soldier sets up upset over his wife's infidelity, asks Father Mahaley for sanctuary after the service in the military tent, in the mess tent. So what happens? They end up. He's gone AWOL, and in the mess tent, Father Mahaley is like having his sanctuary. So for our next one, Pressure Point, when Hawkeye has to do a reoperation on one of Potter's patients, the Colonel fears he lost his touch, and Winchester loses patience with his snoozing bunkmates. So I think it is that Winchester snoring, and the rest of the swamp are getting upset with him. So for the next one, where there a well, there's a war. Hawkeye finds himself quickly writing out his last will and testament after an aid station he's volunteered to help out comes under fire. So Hawkeye is helping out at the aid station on the front line, and he decides to write out his last will and testament. And the camper think that there's something wrong, but they get a patient back, and they realise the work what's sort of partly done is Hawkeye, so they know he's still alive. So that next one, Promotion Command, I think that's what he. Hawkeye, BJ, and Winchester have to do some quick thinking when a soldier was passed over for promotion, getting violent after he learns he hasn't earned another stripe. So what happens? Someone else gets the stripe, but this soldier is, flips his lid, and they have to sort of find a way of getting out and getting the solution solved. So the next one is Hero. Hawkeye banks a bit too much in all his medical accolades when he treats a celebrity prize fighter, and BJ tries to save a soldier using an intense electrical treatment. So they use two spatulas to get this patient's heart, if I'm correct. So the next one, Son of Bowl. When Hawkeye misses the Big Bowls tournament, so he can take a phone call from his hospitalized father, Margaret happens to take his place on the team. Because what happens that they have a contest against another group, and Sherman wouldn't let Margaret step in because she's so good at it, and in the end when Hawkeye steps out, she steps up and wins the game for them. For the next one, picture this. Colonel Potter wants to paint a portrait of the unit for his wife's birthday, but a fight between some of the gang makes it hard to get them all together for the sitting. So there's a spat going on with, I think it's BJ, Hawkeye, and Winchester. So how he does it, he gets them painted here separate, like two at a time, to paint this portrait. So for a final one of this one, Hawkeye is called into the OR while he hands out the payroll. So he gives the money to Klingon, but unfortunately leaving it without the realising that his new pet guinea goat has eaten it. So what happens? Hawkeye's under arrest because the money has gone haywire, but really the goat has eaten it. And this inspector comes in to find out what's happened, and they set him up, and they get the goat to eat something of his. So in the end, it saves Hawkeye's lot, from it. So that's the end of season 9 and 10. So I'll say goodbye for this time and bring you up with the final season later. So I'll bid you a farewell and stay tuned for more of the very last season of MASH. So I wish you goodbye for now.